Welcome to Poor Decisions, Glenfiddich 14. Let's get to tasting.
Gas Nation, this is Brian Bailey here bringing you a new Poor Decisions. We're going to go ahead and rank Glenfiddich 14. That's right, a Scotch from the Speyside. It is a 14-year-old. It is at 92 proof, aged 14 years in used bourbon barrels, and then the last year or so it's aged in a brand new white oak barrel like that's used for bourbon, but again, not used. So Glenfiddich, as you can see on the bottle, I actually love their bottle. You can see there's a stag at the top. Glenfiddich means Valley of the Deer. Glenfiddich, of course, is associated with the Fiddich River in Scotland, which is also in Speyside. And again, if you start to think about the heritage, the story of Glenfiddich, this bottle encapsulates everything that they do. One of my favorite scotches, the 14-year-old. I like the 12 as well, and I've had the others as you moved up, but to me, again, I really enjoyed the 14. So without further ado, I love that noise. Let's do a quick tasting. So the first thing we're gonna do is look at the color. So this is a 14-year. Now we're starting to see we're getting that nice copper working on amber coloring. So again, we're looking at something that has been aged 14 years. And again, equivalency, divide that in half, this would be kind of like a 7-year-old bourbon, right? Let's look at our legs. You can see the legs are running skinny and fast. So we know our proof is down, but they're definitely oily. We're getting a lot of legs here. A nice oily product, so not super dry. Again, really, really good looking whiskey. So let's actually get our nose here. I actually get malt, of course. This is a single malt. A single malt means what? Everybody out there, you should know. I'm not even going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It means it was produced in one distillery and it's 100% malted barley. Nice. I'm getting vanilla and I'm getting a lot of fruit. Kind of like tree fruits, pears, apples. That's what I kind of think of when I start to think of Irishes and I start thinking of Scotches that don't have a peat flavor to it. And again, this is non-smoked, non-peated, so we're not going to get that smoky background. But overall, really, really fine nose. You know, to me, vanilla and fruit, malt, not super crazy nose. I would say very average. I would give it a 3. Let's go to taste. Cheers. Slán Shabbat. I like that. I like that a lot. I think for a lot of bourbon drinkers, you'd really appreciate this one. Again, it is malted, so it has a different sweetness, but I would say this is pushing caramel toffee sweet opposed to like a honey sweet that I'm traditionally used to with a Scotch. And again, bourbons, you're gonna get that caramel toffee brown sugar flavor, but this to me, because of the aged barrels inside of old bourbon barrels, I think you're really starting to pull some notes like that of a bourbon. So I think this would be a great bridge for those that are actually bourbon drinkers that are trying to think about expanding their palate maybe into a Scotch. I think Glenfiddich 14 really sets that up. So I'm getting toffee sweet, I'm getting oak, definitely getting that kind of malt, but there's a spice. It's not the rye spice, but there is a spicy, oaky charredness to it. Maybe it's the oak from the barrel. So overall, getting a lot of features that I would kind of contrast with that of a bourbon. So at the nose, again, we said a 3, really good nose, really good whiskey. I would say on taste, I would actually give this probably a 3.5. And the reason I would go 3.5 is I think it's giving you surprising flavors that you're not used to inside of a single malt. I think a lot of times when we think of single malt, we think of Scotch, we think of smoke, we think of malt, honey, floral. I'm not getting any of those notes. I'm getting fruit, I'm getting sugar, I'm getting vanilla. I'm starting to get a lot of those things I think about inside of a bourbon. So I'm gonna go 3.5, and let's go on the finish here. Kind of the second half of the taste, you get that spice note. The finish is medium long, sweet. So you get that spice and you get the second layer of sweet at the finish, and it just kind of hangs around. It's a little dry on the finish. I wouldn't say super oily or hangs around viscous in your mouth, but it does kind of hang around a little bit. So finish, I like it. I would give it a good average score again. So I'm gonna go 3, 3.5, 3 overall ranking. We'll have to give this a par. To me, this is a good quality Scotch. Again, it's Glenfiddich. It's the Valley of the Deer. It is one of the biggest brands inside of the Scotch market, especially in the Speyside. I really enjoy. Again, I'm trying to expand my horizons in the Scotch world. I enjoy bourbons, I enjoy ryes much more, but I really do appreciate this kind of bridging the gap for a lot of bourbon drinkers to get into the Scotch market. So overall, I would definitely say I would never turn this down. This is a good par, pushing birdie, good whiskey. Price-wise, you're kind of looking in that mid-range between $50 and $100. But overall, really, really a fan. So, Cilantro, cheers. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the future inside of other Pour Decisions. Bye now.